This is Public Access Lost Transmissions Part 5. We're in the middle of a night phase and we're going to dive right into it. Though it is the beginning of a session and we do have to resolve a couple of end of session moves. Ash, for the truth is out there, do you want me to come up with a clue or do you want to come up with a clue?
I have an idea for it, but I want to sort of see where we're at in the storage facility.
Okay, maybe you find it in the storage facility,
That's
possibly.
what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Were there any other beginning of session moves that we need to resolve? I don't think there are, but no, it doesn't look like it. In that case, let's pick up the scene in our sort of slightly extended, longer night phase. Let's start with Ash, actually. So, Tim Crayley, the manager of the self storage, you're hanging out with him, and you recall he was giving you kind of a hard time a little bit, like kind of teasing you a little bit and suggesting that you're maybe kind of a loser, an introvert and a loser. Why are you hanging out with me right now? But what does that say about him? It's his job, right? Um, so let's talk about this little storage unit. The storage unit itself is something of a dimly lit labyrinth. Speaking of labyrinths, you can see flickering lights. And in fact, as you go around one corner, and I think this is probably I can't decide if this is like an exterior or an interior storage. I think it's an interior one. So it's the kind of storage unit that's in a big building, and the storage units there's like hallways, right, that the storage units are in. So um, at one point the lights all go out, and Tim says, "Oh, this place is kind of prone to outages. I feel sorry for the people who pay for air conditioned units because who knows what goes spoiled whenever we have this happen." And then the lights come back on, and he's like, "Oh, okay, there we go." And as you're walking around, you kind of see peeling off-white paint, and the roll-up doors for the storage units are very rusted looking. There's the occasional knocking of old pipes. Let's paint the scene, everyone. As Ash walks down the corridors filled with shuttered doors, what do we imagine is stored behind them? And if you were here, how would it make you feel?
I think there's a jumpiness that Ash is currently uh, possessed by. I think with all the leaky pipes and the outages, I think there's a moment where uh, there's a sort of sudden flash or of the lights going out and the leakiness. There's maybe some sort of like ringing in the pipes, but to him in that moment, almost, and maybe it's just a trick of the brain, a trick of the senses, but as he's walking past one shutter door, it almost feels as if like something jumps and sort of presses against it, as if trying to get out.
I think as the lights, the power comes back on, we hear a muffled beep from behind one of the doors and a kind of mechanical whirring. And if we were able to see beyond that door, we could see that inside this storage unit is just very bare, just a desk, a chair, and an old Apple II computer that is just rebooted as the power came back on. And now there's a blinking cursor just lighting up the dark storage unit.
From behind one door comes a very disgusting smell. It's like rot and feces and everything. And if you look closer, you can also see that there is a small hole gnawed into the bottom of the door, and some mattress fillings spilling out. So probably, maybe there were some beddings and mattresses stored in there, and at some point one or several animals got in there and made their nest there and stored their food there, and of course also did their business there. Maybe they still live there and scratch around the walls at night and climb through shafts in the ceiling.
Hmm. Also, talking about animals, I think one storage unit contains a lot of taxidermied animals, maybe like some deer that, if you look very closely, almost seem lifelike.
Tim says, as he kind of raises up the shutter to get you into that unit, he says, I mean, it's pretty cleared out. The person who, well, I guess it was old FG who bought the unit, he took most of the stuff out. There might still be some things in here. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I'm just so upset about the whole Zagreus situation. I could have got a lot of money for that if I'd known what was in there.
Yeah, it's kind of risky take, I suppose. And as I'm sort of like starting to go in, is it sort of like a situation where there's like shelves, or is it just
No,
strictly
I think it's
bone?
mostly just just like a wide space.
Yeah.
I think as you step inside, though, the little sodium light that lights the interior of the storage unit flickers and goes out. And there's just a little bit of ambient light from the corridor. And he's like, "Oh, sorry about that."
No, it's okay. I have this, and he'll pull out his little like uh his a little flip phone, has a little bit of a flashlight on it, right? And I think, and this will be the thing that I find, but as he's sort of scanning around, there's a moment where he turns his light up to the ceiling, and he can see etched into the ceiling what he doesn't know yet, but will eventually find out when he writes them down and looks them up, are Greek sort of some sort of like curse runes, specifically geared towards necromancy.
Tim sees that and he's like, "Huh, I don't remember that being there before." It looks like it was actually carved really recently. And he kind of reaches up and he touches it. He's like, "Look, the paint's still a little, I don't know, it's not, it just seems like it's happened. I don't know."
Does anyone else have access to this unit that you know of?
No, just me. Well, I mean, I guess technically FG bought the unit, but he no longer has access to it once he cleared it out. I mean, he doesn't have any reason to. It's not like he's going to keep renting it. This is all really getting kind of weird. And then
You didn't maybe see anybody earlier today, did you? And I'd like to try and pull some information.
well, I think at this point the light in the corridor goes out as well.
Oh.
So all you have is just the very small halo of glow from your cell phone. I would like the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen
Okay.
if you lose your nerve?
Oh, I don't like this. I'm afraid that that this is intentional, and that that person with the bull mask will return, coming after me.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. You are going to be trapped inside the storage unit in the dark. Go ahead and roll with composure, and let's take a look at your conditions before you do. You have the Wanderer. I don't think that applies. You can just roll 2d6.
Okay. Oh, not bad, not bad. Composure, that's gonna be a 10.
Nice. Well, let's keep the scene going for a minute. He says, "What are you hoping to find in here?"
I'm honestly not sure. There's just a lot of strange, I guess, coincidences sort of connect to this machine that, for some reason or another, I uh, feel kind of attached to.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies from this place. I'm gonna go back to the office. Are you gonna be okay in here?
Uh, and then I think at that point, that's when the lights start to flicker again, if not go off completely. And I think I'll say, no, you know what? Maybe I'll come with you. There's not really a lot here, right?
Right. And this storage unit is on the bottom floor, but as you are walking back out, your shoe lands heavy on a particular part of the floor that does not feel solid. It sounds hollow. He's like, "Are you
I think
okay?"
that'll. Yeah. Is there something underneath this? This feels like really weak.
No, there's not. No, this is it.
There's no like basement.
If you look down, you'll actually see there's a hatch.
Yeah, I'll point it out to him. I'll actually flash the light out onto the hatch part.
He's like, "Holy shit. Maybe it's some kind of maintenance thing that they put in there when they built this place? Huh. Maybe there's another rare video game down there."
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a dozen of them.
Yeah, I wonder what do you suppose Zagreus would have went for on eBay?
I don't know, probably a few $1,000s.
A few
Seems
thousand
like a big
dollars.
deal.
It is a big deal. And he goes to open the hatch. Do you what do you do?
I stand by. I just sort of keep the light on so he can do his business.
When he opens up the hatch, there's a blast of cold air. It just opens right up. It's not locked or anything.
Hmm.
There's a blast of cold air that comes out in a great and fills the space. He's like, "Yeah, maybe there must be some kind of like, I don't know, like," he's like, "It's cold. Do you think we're paying to air condition whatever that is down there?"
Does it smell like anything?
You can make the meddling move with
All
composure.
right, I'll do that. That is an 8.
I just want to read on the whole situation: this strange hatch, the cold, the fact that the lights have conveniently gone out, a horror movie style. How are you feeling right now?
Uh, I don't know. It's a strange mix of obviously terror, but curiosity. Uh, yeah, I think that he's kind of concerned with how curious he is about this because he's, obviously a lot more reserved than he usually than he is right now.
I'm going to give you a condition. We're going to call it ill-advised curiosity.
All right.
Tim looks at you and says, "Looks like there's a ladder here. After you."
No, I mean, I should. You should probably get on first because I have the light, and I don't want you. Something might happen. I should really be up here letting
He's like,
you
"But this is
go
your
down.
gig. You're the one who wanted to come. You're the one who wanted to come in here. You're looking for mysteries or whatever, right?"
Well, yeah, but you're looking for games. Again, I don't want to impose. I will totally be right behind you though.
I don't think there are any games. I'm gonna go grab a Twinks, and he like leaves.
Yeah, he'll watch him walk off, but then as he does get out of sight, Ash will just sort of crouch at the edge and just keeping an eye down there, shining his light to see if he can see anything beyond the perimeter of the ladder.
Yes, something is moving down there. You see the shadows and you hear a skittering or a stepping. I would like the night move again.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Well, either way, I want to get away from this, but I think if he doesn't keep his nerve, he's going to slip and fall inside of the hole.
It's worse than that. You will be the first victim in nearly 30 years.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. What's this with?
It's going to be with composure. I wanted a disadvantage too because of ill-advised curiosity.
Oh, it's not going to be any better than what I just got. Yeah, no, that's a 5.
He goes off to get the Twinks, clearly just covering for the fact that he's scared. You look down with your light and you see movement. And then you see at the very bottom of the shaft a face looking up at you. It's someone you recognize, someone from your past, someone who's dead. You can share that with us later as you wish, but you find yourself being drawn in. You don't even remember how you got down the ladder. You're just down there now. And the space beneath is impossibly vast. Indeed, you are sitting in what appears to be a little boat atop an inky black underground lake. And across the way is an island lit with a brazier, the only spot of light. And the little boat is rowed out to the island. And it's the last anyone ever hears of you. Let's cut over to Taylor. Taylor, you hear the voice. Hello?
No.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry. I didn't want to scare you. Harvey Stosky is in the girls' bathroom.
Okay, I was wondering the voice.
He sees
said
you.
that
He sees you talking to the drain,
to
and he's
say?
like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm not sorry. I tried knocking at the front door, but nobody answered, so I just came in through the back. I hope that's okay."
Yeah, I mean, why though?
Oh,
This is a girls' cabin, you know?
right. Yeah,
There's
I
a
know.
bunch of little
It's very weird. I
girls
know.
in their
It's weird.
pajamas in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's really
it is.
strange.
So
I get
what?
it. Listen, I think you're in danger. He looks like hell. He looks like he hasn't shaved in probably like a week. He is very, very haggard, bags under his eyes. He still has that stupid ball cap with the sturgeon on it. And perhaps most distressing of all, he's wearing a puffy vest with no sleeves. He says,
Am I in danger from
he's like,
you? Because you're kind of.
He says, I think it's my wife or my ex-wife.
Okay.
She's
Keep talking.
She's here at the camp.
So you're in danger, not me.
No. You've got to understand something.
What does that have to do with me? Yes, please.
Well, I don't
enlighten
mean, I mean the general sort of you, all of you. You're all in danger.
Okay. Okay.
Who were you talking to just now?
Well, you, of course.
Right. Okay. Okay. Emily is calling from the
Yeah,
front.
didn't you
She's
hear
like,
me
"Is
say
everything?"
no?
Emily says, "Is everything okay back there?"
Fine. Just wait a second. I'll be right out.
He's like, "Thank you. You're right. It is weird for me to be back here." I'm gonna go, but listen,
Please enlighten me first.
Jessica's disappearance, it had a really bad effect on Mary and me. We split up because of it, yeah, okay.
Obviously.
But
Yeah.
she's never really gotten over it. And she blames this place.
I see. I'm sorry, man.
Just
I know what that's like.
yeah, well, what do you mean? You know what that's like?
Like separations and not getting over something.
Yeah.
Divorced parents, yada yada, you know.
Oh, do you come from a broken family?
If you want to call it that, I prefer calling it divorced parents.
Right.
Not what we're actually talking about here. So she never got over it. She hates
No.
this place. So she's dangerous because
Listen, I've done everything I
listen.
can to keep this place closed over the years. Not because, well, definitely because it pisses me off that like no one ever did a proper investigation of what happened to my daughter or those other kids that went missing. But also because the presence of Pine Rock Ridge, the mere existence of it, it causes Mary to go into a strange place. Have you ever seen the first Friday the 13th movie?
Can't say I have.
Well, if you had, it's a lot like that, maybe not quite as much cable net sweater. Sorry, that doesn't make any
Why,
sense
thank
if you've never
you.
seen it.
No.
She's dangerous, is what I'm saying. That's part of the reason why I'm here.
Okay, a danger to the kids or
Maybe, I don't know.
to
Maybe she maybe. And
she's here now.
at this point, you hear up front, Emily says, "Oh, I think the pizzas we ordered are here."
Great.
And she like says to one of the kids, "Josephine, will you go out and grab them? Here's the money. Take a friend. 2 and 2 stick together like glue. Piney pine cone, and all that business." And
I'll go with them.
Emily's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. An adult would be good in this situation."
Yeah, just wait a second. Just washing my hands now. You know, gotta be clean.
Harvey says, "I'll go around the other way." Whoa.
Yes, please. Don't go around the front where the kids
I
are.
mean, I'll go with you, but circling the other way. So if it's Mary, I'll be able to get the jump on her.
Do you have Mary's number?
Oh, yeah, her cell phone?
Yeah, can I have it?
Yeah, sure. And he gives it to you.
Thank you.
Josephine's like, "Hurry, the pizzas are going to get cold."
I'm almost there, you know, so important. No, fuck off.
He goes around back out the back, and presumably he's going to sneak around to kind of be on the other side of wherever you're going to keep an eye out from the rear. You and Josephine head out to the front. You do see a car idling in front of the cabin. The headlights are on, but because the headlights are in your eyes, you can't quite see who's in the actual cabin of the car. What do you do?
I think I already established that I got a flashlight last time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I blink my flashlight at the car to signal that they should
turn your
turn
lights
their
off.
lights off.
There's no response.
Oh god damn it. Okay. I tell the girl to wait a second, stay right there. And I puff myself up and quickly move towards the vehicle, angrily pointing my flashlight back at the driver's seat where I suspect someone to sit.
When you approach, you see the driver of the vehicle wearing a delivery uniform. It looks like some kid who works at the pizza place. I'm not sure the name of the pizza place. Oh, maybe it's a... No, I won't say that. The name's not... It's a Domino's or something. And you can even see the little like kind of... the little like ornament on top of the car with it says, you know, Domino's Pizza glowing or whatever. The person is sitting there in the driver's seat, and it looks like their throat has been cut because there's blood everywhere. I would like the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
I'm afraid that the murderer is still in the car and will run me over.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure it gets worse than that, except to say that the person then goes and terrorizes Loon Cabin. I think because you are the next victim, I'm going to put you at disadvantage. It's going to be with composure. Well, next victim and very, very curious is probably going to put you at disadvantage with composure.
All right. Oh yeah, that's a 5.
You're approaching and you hear like a... As you approach, you realize the car is not just idling. The back tires are spinning. And then you hear a chunk chunk as someone lets the brake go, and the car flies forward and smashes you in your hip. And it smashes you with such violent force that you bend like an L. You bend in half, and a little bit of your guts comes out of your mouth and spatters on the windshield. And you roll over. And we just see your dying face. In the headlights of the car. And we see Emily standing in the threshold of the cabin. She's like, "Hey, is everything okay out there? What's going on with that pizza?" Let's cut over to Zachary Fontenot with Frog and the People's Champ. Let's take a look at the clues you've got here just to remind ourselves on Greetings Travelers. You know, we've established that the flyers were made at Copies. You see evidence of that here. We've talked about that already. There's also been a lot of talk about like abandoned missile silos, which is an odd thing. Maybe something to follow up on at some point. But you're here. And Frog is, you know, I don't remember exactly what was happening when we last saw you, but I just remember you were there kind of chatting with Frog and the People's Champ. What do you do?
So the People's Champ works there, right? So
he does. He's got his little like apron on, but still his lucha mask at the same time. So, and his little label even says the People's Champ, and it's engraved that they actually did this for him. It's not like taped over. So,
hey, so Champ, can I? You think I could maybe take a look at your like receipt book or whatever? Maybe we can figure out who printed these things.
Right. Good idea, Dr. Watson. And he goes and he grabs he's like, well, it's, Frog says, "Come on, man, this is not 1972. We don't have a receipt book. It's all on the POS system. It's computerized, man."
Yeah, of course. I didn't think you were that up to speed on the tech, maybe, but yeah. So how do we correlate like these flyers with? You must have some kind of way of recognizing when they were printed, tying it to an order.
Frog gets in there and he begins like, typing away, and People's Champ says, "This is cool. This is like, it's like Batman, Alfred, Lucian Fox doing our thing."
I think Zachary just gives him a kind of withering look. Alfred, really?
Yeah, sorry, man. Also, Batman sucks. I mean, he's a billionaire who beats up poor people.
Right. It's a fascist fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's exactly right. That's why, as the defender of the young people of Degoya County, I've committed myself to only beating up poor people who deserve it.
That's encouraging to hear.
Baby steps, baby steps on the road to justice. Let's see what we got here. Go ahead and make a meddling move with reason, just for the idea. Let's see what you can turn up.
Yeah. My reason's pretty good. I'm not even going to try with it, but I'm just going to go. That's 9.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you your clue now. They're going through and they managed to figure out who made the purchase based off of the fact that they bought like a large quantity of this really particular shade of hot green paper, and then the number of copies, and they kind of get it all sorted out, right? They pull up the receipt, and the receipt was signed. The receipt was signed by someone who calls themselves, or at least they signed their name as this. They signed their name as Brandy Mouse Mother. And Frog says, "I think this might be the thing that we're looking for here." That's not actually the clue, though. That's just confirmation that somebody from Blackleaf Circle probably bought all these copies. Frog says, I remember this person. Now that I think about it, pretty hard to forget.
Oh, that name stood out to you, huh?
Oh, well, it was also how they were dressed. Have you ever seen Conan the Barbarian? Or maybe it's Destroyer, one of them. But like the little thief guy that hangs out with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
She was like that. She was dressed like that. She kept going in all of her pockets. Like, she had to go into her pockets to get things. She had a cloak lined with
black and white makeup?
But she definitely had like some strategically placed smudges. Like she just finished crawling through a tunnel or escaping from an underground crypt.
These people, man.
Anyway, she was really strange.
Oh, you think?
Well, she said that the flyer, this game that they play, role-playing games, talk about losers. It was something they were going to do. She said, we're trying to find a new battery. That's your clue.
Like a Duracell?
Well, I don't know. She just said, well, we were kind of talking, like, I was like, why so secretive and all this other stuff? And she said, well, it has to be secretive so we can find the right person. And I was like, well, who's the right person? And she says, The right person is the person who will be the new battery. I was really fucking high, so I didn't want to press the issue anymore. It was already quite a lot. So.
Well, I have no idea what that means, but maybe we can put it together at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So much as I'm having a great time hanging around with you fellas,
This is pretty
think
cool,
I should-
right?
Oh yeah, this is how I like to spend my Friday nights. I think I gotta make a move.
The People's Champ takes you very pointedly by the shoulder and says, "Be careful out there.
Yeah,
Evil
it's
stalks the streets at night."
It's good to know I got somebody like you watching over the streets.
If you find yourself in danger, if you find yourself beset by shadowy forces of darkness, just know that my shift ends in about 45 minutes. I will come and rescue you at that time.
Is that like some kind of signal I should shine on the clouds, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's good. I need to write that down. You go, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Let's go talk about Tobacco Plus and check in with Amber. Amber, Tobacco Plus, who is run by Missy Donut Van Doorn, aka Missy Von Donut. She has great big 80s hair. We're talking like Tawny Katane hair, right? And denim jacket. She's got a psychic narwhal messiah patch on the front of her denim jacket. Hands filled with silver rings. She's got a Zippo lighter, kind of fidgeting with it. And she's like, "Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hi there. It's
Goth chick. Love that. Rock on."
yeah, and I'm sure she'll be able to tell it that Amber is actually high and wandering around, looking at everything with big eyes.
Yeah. We've established already that Missy Von Donut loves a fantasy aesthetic, so there's all kinds
Yeah.
of like wizard posters and shit like that, right? She's like, "Are you looking for anything special?"
I mean, there's so much cool stuff here around.
And she also remind you she had a flyer in her window for Greetings Travelers. So
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking, can you tell me more about that flyer at the front of your shop?
which one?
Oh, it's about that role-playing game, S&S.
Oh yeah, Serpents and Sepulchres. I used to play that back in the day. I had a healer. She was called Witch Elm.
Oh, nice.
To be honest, I let anyone who asks leave their flyers up by the window or hang up their little band posters or whatever. It doesn't hurt anything. It kind of helps with foot traffic. The people who came in, they were of a type, of the sort of person you see sometimes in the world. They hung it up. They were kind of like gamer cosplay nerds, best I could tell. No judgment there. I mean, who are we to judge, right?
Absolutely.
Are you gonna call it? Are you gonna go play in the secret SNS game?
I mean, if I can play a necromancer, that would be cool.
Oh, I see. So you're kind of cosplaying a little bit yourself, huh?
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
what,
I mean,
what?
these games are great, right? Because they let you live out your fantasies, things you wouldn't be able to do in real life.
Yeah.
Like
And
me, I got rejected from nursing school just because I happened to have, something of a record. And so I was never going to be a nurse, but in SNS, Witch Elm, she could heal people. She could heal the masses. She could help me satisfy my need to take people's pain away. I guess I do that now too, but in a slightly different way, right?
true. So why did you stop playing then?
Make the meddling move with presence.
Okay. Think that's a 13.
Nice. I like it. Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back and pick up with some of these scenes. Amber, as you're looking around, you can't help but notice two things. The first is your clue. A note addressed to Missy Von Donut, which she seems to have crumpled and tried to throw in a wastebasket but missed. And of course, that's always a good clue. A crumpled up piece of paper that is just outside the wastebasket. But if you surreptitiously open it up and look at it, it's a note written to her that says, "Sorry, Missy, you can't join the game." It says, "Sorry, Missy, you can't join the game." And it has one other bit too. Hold on. Sorry. I had my clue and then I lost it. God damn it. It says, "Sorry, Missy, you can't join the game. You're a little too old for what we have in mind."
That stinks.
It does stink. The other thing you notice is a picture on the wall. It's a picture of the Wanderer. But it's a picture of, it looks like an old-timey sepia toned photograph of a bunch of cowpokes or, old West people. And he's in the picture, but he's not even like the subject of the photo. It's a group of people standing for a photo, but he's in the background. And he sticks out because he's so tall and so big, but he's there on the edge of the frame. What do you do?
I get closer to that picture. Let's see. Try to figure out what's that about.
She's like, "You can see him, can't you?"
And she turns around to figure out if she can trust Missy, and then she says, "Yep, I've met him."
You've met him? Wow. I call him the big man. He's well, and she kind of goes underneath her little workstation and she pulls out a big binder. And she's got other photos, news clippings. She says, he's been appearing here in town going back to like the late 1800s. Always there, always wearing his cowboy hat, always smoking a cigarette, sometimes just barely in the frame. And she's kind of moving it through. She says, I met him once too. He said some weird cryptic shit to me and then disappeared.
Checks out. But why were you asking whether I can see him? Do you mean some people can't see him in the pictures?
No, no. If you know where to look, you'll definitely see him in the picture. I guess what I mean to say is, well, sometimes people can't see him when he's just standing right there. And I saw you looking, and I'm guessing you've seen him. And so when I say you can see him, I mean,
Hmm.
not only can you see him, but it sounds like you've met him.
Do you think he's
An angel? Yes.
okay?
He's an angel sent by God to help us through something big that's coming, like apocalyptic level event.
For some reason, he didn't really seem like an angel, more like an observer.
Right. Well, whatever it is, whatever he is, whoever he is, he's always around. Ooh.
Yeah, and since she's still high, she she obviously thinks, oh wait, gets spooked and turns around.
No, look, listen. People are going to tell you that the reason why you're seeing strange, large men in the desert is because you're on recreational substances, but don't let them tell you that. It's not true. I don't smoke at all, and I've seen him.
Oh, all right. And I'm not high all the time, so yeah, checks out.
Cool. Cool. I guess that makes us like angel sisters.
Yeah, maybe we should meet up again and hang out sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. I'm actually and she's like, "Hey, before you go," and she pulls out a a plastic container of muffins. She's like, "There's nothing in these. They're just muffins. Nothing but blueberries and butter and a whole lot of love. I made them this morning.
Oh,
I'm trying to get rid of them so they don't go stale."
thanks. I'm really hungry right now, so I think it was destiny that we've met.
Yeah, maybe. Uh, what was your name again?
And now she hesitates for a moment, but then she thinks, okay, yeah, I can trust this person. I'm Amber Serrano.
Amber. Cool. I'm well, people call me Donut, but my name's Missy. But you can call
Nice
me
to meet
Donut.
you, Missy. You know, I'm into baking too, and maybe we can make some donuts at some
Hmm?
point.
I I would I would like that. And we'll cut away from this scene. But your clue is that whatever is going on with this game, Missy is too old for it. So
Hmm.
How old is she?
she's a little older than you all, but not much. I mean, she's probably like in her early 30s or something, early to mid 30s. The tape, neighborly living, '03. cooking for your community, Pure White Extreme. Natasha, it's your turn.
Okay, let me read the prompt. Paula has invited her new neighbors, the Galdersons, over for dinner. The family is composed of Mother Tracy, Father Richard, and their two adorable children, Billy and Veronica. What minor trespass of etiquette do the children make? And in what overdramatic or hostile way does Paula respond before putting on the mask of hospitality again? Well, Paula has served dinner. Is it dinner? And it's a little bit of everything. It's veggies and it's a salad and there's meatloaf, of course, and there's smashed potatoes and gravy and the whole shebang. And everyone eats and is very polite. And parents go, yeah, very, very good. Delicious, delicious. You're really such a good cook. But at some point, little Billy shoves away his plate very gently and says, Mom, may I be excused? And Veronica does the same thing. And we see that there's still a lot of food on those plates. And the mom says, yes, of course, you may go play. And Billy and Veronica say, can we get dessert? And the mom says, yes, of course, just wait a second. And at the mom's response, Paula looks at the children and says, of course you can get dessert. Why would you eat the good stuff? To stuff your fucking faces with sweets, will ya? And she takes the plates from the table and throws them into the sink and gets out a whole bucket of ice cream from the fridge. And she puts it in front of the children and says, go eat the ice cream, eat it. Now eat it all up, will you? And then she coughs and says, enjoy the ice cream, sweeties. I made it just for you this morning.
Ash, are you going to turn a key to avoid being taken to the underworld forever?
You know what I was actually kind of considering? No, I did turn a key. I turned a key of the child.
You can narrate it now or you can wait till later. It's up to you.
I'm gonna wait till later.
Okay.
But
so instead,
yeah,
you were doing night move or you're doing night move,
I
right?
was doing meddling, but then I ended up doing a night move.
Okay, yeah. So you're still in night move. So
yeah.
You don't see anything necessarily unusual apart from the fact that like there's something moving down there. You did see and hear movement. I'm gonna give you a condition that is unnerved, if that is a fair representation of your feelings right now. And then just ask you, what do you do? What do you do?
What do I do? What is I doing? So I think in addition to the 7 to 9, I think in addition to the unnerved condition, I think what will happen will be that as Ash is sort of trying to stand up, he's not the most graceful. And I think that's when his phone slips into the shaft. And he, on his knees, just says, oh, no. And he can see the little like flash of light down at the end of the shaft. And he looks around. Sir? He calls out to the manager who he's been hanging out with. And after not hearing any response, not hearing any response, I imagine there's another eerie flicker of the lights above again. But then he looks down and sees the phone. and sighs to himself and starts climbing down.
When you get down to the bottom, you're in the tunnels again. This is another place that these weird, unused tunnels beneath Deep Lake connects up to. A place where you were trapped for a short time earlier in the week. Adafoy might be down here with you right now as we speak.
Hence the unnerved.
What do you do?
condition. He's unnerved. He's scrambling for his phone, and then we'll take sort of a flash around with the light before I think climbing back up the ladder as quickly as possible.
You hear, "Where are you going? You just got here."
Hello?
"Come down the ladder."
Who's there?
You know who it is.
If I come down, you're not going to hurt me, are you?
Of course not. You're not the one I'm interested in. Though, my interest is increasing with every day that passes.
Ash will hesitantly start to climb down, but as he's climbing down, he'll ask, "Ooh, what do you want with her?"
Make the meddling move with composure. Disadvantage.
I was about to say at disadvantage, right? All right. Composure, that's going to be a 6.
It's very dark in this particular leg of the tunnel that this ladder goes down. You just have the light from your cell phone. But you see the bronze bull face mask, almost like it's floating toward you in the darkness. Though, of course, this is just an optical illusion because they're dressed in all black. As they get closer to you, you see that there's really not much to them. They're just a normal looking person. They have normal looking hoodie and jeans and Vans. "I want you to help me tonight."
What kind of help?
"I'm going to burn down the Galaxia arcade."
Why?
"Because people cannot know the truth of Zagreus."
What happens if I find out?
I'm not hearing a lot of confirmation that, yes, you're going to come help me with this.
Sorry that this is a lot to take in at once. Secret tunnels.
If you're not
few-
going to help me, then I'm going to have to kill you because you know what I'm up to. I've already revealed my plans.
You don't have to kill me. I will. I will. I'll do my best to help. What do you need?
Right. Well, I thought we'd start by killing the old man. FG.
I mean, I can help with burning. Murder is kind of where I draw a line.
He's gotten really close to you at this point. He holds out what appears to be a pocket knife. Not in a threatening way, though. He says, "If I can trust you, you'll slit open your palm. I'll do the same, and we'll let our blood mingle together.
Like blood brothers, right?
What I have in mind is a ritual much more ancient than that, but yes, if that helps you to understand the basic parameters of what we're doing here tonight, blood brothers.
Sure. Maybe you can show me how to do it on yourself, and then I'll do it on myself.
Quit fucking around and quit trying to vacillate. Now take the knife and cut open your palm.
I think he says I think when he says quit fucking around, that's when there's a sudden burst of bravery or probably stupidity. But Ash is going to try and shove him and then scuttle up the ladder.
Night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That Ash is a little weak little boy and isn't going to shove him at all. He's just going to put his hands on him.
It's worse than that. He's going to dispatch you because you now know too much.
Too much.
This is going to be with vitality, and I'll let you have it at I'll let you have it at regular dice for now.
All right. So I'm going to mark something for advantage then, and I imagine it's going to be somewhat retroactive to a degree. But since we found the Walkman, Ash has been using the Walkman to sort of listen to some self-help tapes that he has around that he does to keep calm.
Not
and one
Bush.
Of them, yeah.
Not
well, the one that he's been listening to is has been sort of like a self-defense instructions. Pelvis, knee, chin, run, that sort of thing.
Billy James would be proud, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to roll.
Very good. I love it. Roll 3 dice. Take the 2 highest.
Oh, work, Diva. That's a 12.
Oh, nice. I'll give you a clue as well. Go ahead and just describe how you escape.
He does what he was instructed to. He kind of kicks at the pelvis, sort of elbows the stomach, and then shoves away as best as he can. And I think that in the scuffle, if it's okay, I'll try to snatch the knife from him, and taking the knife with me and my phone, just scuttle up the ladder as quickly as I can. Yeah.
When you get up, you find that the light is back on in the storage facility, and waiting for you in the middle of the floor near the entrance so you can't miss it is an old, battered McKidd's Sears shoebox from the 1980s.
Yeah, I kick the lid to the hatch closed, and then when I see it, I'll sort of on all fours crawl towards it.
Yeah, it's this old kid's shoebox. What do you
do? Still sort of running off the adrenaline, just sort of flip the lid off of it, see if what's inside.
There's a very well-preserved, wet, sticky human heart. Let's cut over to Taylor. Taylor, are you turning a key to avoid being...
Yes, of course I am.
Bent and broken by this car. I love it. So you had done a night move, right? Or you yeah, okay. Do you want to do your key thing now, or do you want
to wait? Let's wait and do them together.
Okay. Everything is as I described. The pizza delivery boy has been killed. Harvey is coming up from the rear, and he sees it, and he says, "Oh my God, keep those kids away from here. Don't let them see this."
Obviously, man. Do you think this was your ex?
I don't know. I hope not. But I've been scared. I've been scared something like this might happen. Mary is She's, well, let's just say she's been touched by an angel. How about that?
What?
Never mind. We gotta call sheriff. We gotta do something about this. We gotta get these kids out of
Yeah,
here.
you go call the sheriff.
All right. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. Just
I'll secure the perimeter. Or
yeah. Keep the kids
something
inside.
like
Yeah.
that.
I'll be back in a minute. And he runs off.
Mm.
What do you do?
I would like to call the number of the ex-wife.
I do
You
want to
gave
check
me.
in with you because you still had a 7 and 9 on your roll. I'd like to know how you're feeling because of all this.
I'm actually quite annoyed, to be honest, that nothing ever goes according to plan. And I just wanted to ask some questions and have some pizza. And now there's the dead delivery guy. And I wanted to talk to Emily. And maybe there's a monster in the lake, which is fine. But then a dead pizza guy, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't like that. I like it when things make sense, but they don't right now.
Take a condition exasperated and
Yeah, that's the correct word. Yeah.
Emily says, "What's going on out there? Do you have the pizza?"
Yes. I bring the pizza.
Oh, did you stop to grab the pizza? She's like, "Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's this on the top of the
Let's go
box?"
inside and have tomato sauce.
She's like, "That, are you sure? It's awfully runny to be tomato sauce."
Tabasco.
Oh,
I
ugh.
removed the Tabasco pizza because it's not for kids, is it?
Oh, they do
No,
that.
no,
They
it's
know
not.
they're delivering to a bunch of 10-year-olds and
Yes,
12-year-olds,
yes.
so they put the tobacco. Oh, those assholes.
Ridiculous. Those
Assholes.
idiots. Let's eat. Come on.
Sorry.
Let's eat.
Pardon my
I
French.
shove her in the door.
The kids are loving it. They're, they've just hit stop on the tape, and they're excited to dig into pizza. A couple of them say, "I wish we had ice cream too," and they
That's
go in.
the moral of the story, isn't it? Yeah.
Josephine.
No ice cream and yes.
Yeah, Josephine had gone halfway out there with you. She hadn't seen what you saw, but she says, "What did you see? You were acting awfully weird out there."
Mr. Stowski's outside. And he says his ex-wife is outside, so they have some kind of grown-up quarrel going on. And I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Oh yeah, it's like my mom and dad. They're in the middle of, they're
mine too.
separated right now.
I get that. That sucks.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's better than the constant bickering.
Well, exactly. And honestly, I'm just ready for them to move on. I think that's a healthier situation. That's what Daniel says anyway.
Who's Daniel? He sounds this one, Daniel.
Oh yeah, Daniel's there. He'll go
Daniel
on. He'll talk at some length about
very
how
wise.
Divorce is actually in many cases, the best way to move on and to find emotional centeredness and all that stuff. And it's good for the kids in the long term.
Yes, he's very wise. And I tell Emily, you be careful that they don't use you to spy on each other and to talk dirty about each other. You be careful about that. Okay? Tell them you don't want that. And always let them pick you up and drive you around. Okay?
Right.
And
okay.
I think that's a very good point to narrate my my key, actually.
Oh, good.
Because it fits
please do.
perfectly in here. It's a flashback to the moment when I realized childhood wasn't forever. And we see young Taylor, maybe about 10. And it's the weekend and she's getting ready. And her dad asks her, "Are you ready? It's Mom Day. Are you excited?" And she says, "Yes, super excited. We're going to the zoo." And her dad says, "Are you? Very good. Just one thing. You're still going to your mom's. Don't worry." But she called ahead and asked that you please take the bus. She can't pick you up today. And little Taylor says, "But why? It's so far. It takes ages, and the bus goes only twice a day. And I've already missed the first one." And her dad just sighs and says, "Yeah, she insisted. She doesn't want to drive you to her place and back anymore." And I'm like, "But why? She always picked me up, and she always drives me home." And her dad just shakes his head and says, "Well, sweetie," she says, "you're old enough now. Can't be a child forever, and you have to just do your own thing, and she can't always mother you, even though she is your mother. Okay?"
Fantastic. Thank you. Amber and Zachary, this is probably a good opportunity to put the two of you back together since you are in the kind of same little shopping center, and you're probably wrapping up around the same time. Amber might look just ever so flustered, Zachary, to your eyes. I don't know. I don't know if you have the emotional sensitivity and range to detect such a thing, but in any case, that's what I would
Especially
imagine.
not after having Amber's cookies.
Indeed, yeah. Everything is a little blunted at the moment. But anyway, the two of you can have the scene out there on the in the dimly lit parking lot of this shopping center.
You know, the people's champ and frog in there. I'm kind of relieved to get back to relatively normal with Vampira here. What have you been up to?
As usual, making friends, having a nice time here in Deep Lake.
Oh yeah, you want to get more specific, or are you just going to be cryptic as well?
I mean, don't you think it's really easy to meet people here around?
Yeah, it's meeting people you would actually want to meet is the tricky part.
Yeah, true. But still, so that shop owner, she was lovely. Can you believe it? And I was just asking her about the role-playing game S&S, and turns out she used to play. And we kind of bonded over baking, and I think we're gonna be friends, actually.
Well, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, so maybe
Maybe
you can bond over, I don't know, the news. Maybe some bankers or insurance guys around here.
maybe she knew my brother. If she was, how old was she?
I think like in her early 30s,
Huh.
mid 30s.
I'd say there's a pretty good chance then. Maybe I should go speak to her myself. But I expect she's closing up for the night, so maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, just make sure to mention that you're friends with me, and then she'll definitely talk to you.
You want me to put in a good word? Is that it?
No, I'm just making life easier for you.
Your consideration overwhelms me. Now, can I get a ride back home, or are you going to make me walk?
Maybe we should take a cab. I'm still
Yeah,
pretty
those
high.
cookies were, I don't know. I don't know if I just dreamed up the people's champ or really did meet him.
Oh no, that guy's real.
Yeah, I think even my imagination could not have created him.
So will you meet him again?
Not if I see him coming first.
While you're having this conversation, it's interrupted, Zachary, when something from the sky hits you on the forehead. It doesn't hurt too badly, just a little dunk. And when you look down, you can see it's a pink, glittery D20. And then another one hits you, Amber. This one hurts a little more. It's a red D4 from the sky. And then another one, Zachary. A D12 this time. A little harder. Bounces off your shoulder.
The hell? And I'll scan around, see if I can figure out where they're coming from.
A D10 flies from the sky with such velocity that it leaves a spiderweb crack on your windshield.
Damn it.
And then, before you know it, you're caught in a strange little small hailstorm of polyhedral dice raining down on top of you. Let's make our last stop with Paula Palmer.
It's dinner time. From the head of the table, Paula is grinning wide and addressing the camera about the joys of communal dining. Richard and Tracy are barely in the frame, their heads slumped face first into the dishes in front of them. And I think what we actually see just at the edge of the frame is that they're not just slumped down into their dishes, but they've kind of got some kind of harness contraption around their heads that is actually holding their face into the food, almost like an animal in a trough. From off camera, the children are crying. And Paula lifts up the serving knife from the table and stroking her finger gently along the edge says, always remember it is very important not only to be a good host, but to be the perfect guest. And she slowly stands up and advances out of frame carrying the knife.
Ash, there's a human heart in this kid's shoebox. I would like the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
What else can happen? At this point,
it is a clue for what it's worth, but yeah.
Yeah. He's afraid he's gonna have his heart taken by whatever's happening here, whoever's happening here.
Oh, interesting. How is it worse than that? It's worse than that because your body is going to join a grisly tableau being stored in one of the units. Please go ahead and roll with... No, I think it's actually sensitivity. I'm going to make you roll sensitivity.
All right, and is this disadvantage?
It's definitely a disadvantage, yes.
Well, great. That's going to be a 4.
A 4.
Let's talk about this tableau.
Bill Crayley, or Tim Crayley, rather. He's standing in the doorway. He says, I used to have a little cat, and she would leave little gifts for me every morning when I would come to let her in. Dead birds, mice, that kind of thing. I did some research to figure out what it all meant. And apparently, cats think that we're just big, dumb cats that don't know how to hunt. And so they leave dead animals as a sort of step one to teach us how to hunt. And he's
That's an
looking down at that
interesting
box.
fact. That's an interesting fact. I gotta, and this is when Ash is clearly trying to like scuttle away and like sort of creeping out on his butt.
He's like,
it's trying to like.
he's like, oh, right about now, you are probably feeling your muscles tense up. I tampered with the twinks.
And Ash
Indeed, you
just,
fall down.
yeah, I think Ash is trying to like sort of wave the knife that he stole from the bullheaded guy in front of his face, but he starts kind of feeling his muscles seize up in his arm and fall back.
He's like, come with me. And he begins dragging you down the corridor. And he's just declaiming as he drags you down the corridor. He says, you know, the great thing about being the only person who works this late at night at me and my self-storage is, well, you get to do things pretty well unobserved by the general public. This is particularly helpful when you have, well, let's just say, unorthodox hobbies. And he takes you to one of the units, unlocks it, rolls up the gate. And inside, you see his great work. He says, you're going to be famous soon. And he drags you inside, closes the gate. Unless you're turning a key.
Come back to me.
Okay.
Think about that.
Taylor.
Yes.
The kids are calmed down. Everything's cool. Everything's good.
Oh, we forgot that I wanted to call the lady.
Oh, Mary? You
Yeah.
can, do you?
Well, I want to inform Emily of what's going on first, so that she can keep the kids in check.
Yeah. Yeah, Emily,
And then
you can tell her all that. She's like, she's really worried, but she's gonna keep the kids, under control.
Yeah. And then I grab a knife from the kitchen. And then I step outside and call the woman's phone and listen really closely.
You don't hear it ringing. It does pick up. Hello? Do you know what time it is? Who is this?
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Did I wake you?
Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. I'm in another time zone. Is this Susan Fisher?
No, this is no, this is Mary. I don't have to tell you my name. Who are you?
I was trying to reach Susie. I'm sorry. I must have gotten the wrong number.
Right. Okay, yeah, cool. And indeed,
I'm sorry, ma'am.
it's not 11 o'clock where you're at. It's like 9 o'clock where you're at. So maybe it's 11 o'clock where she's at.
Yeah.
She's like, all right,
Okay.
have a good night. All right, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Harvey
I
Stosky
knew I shouldn't.
steps out of the tree line. He says, is everything okay? I called the sheriff. He's on his way over.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask my good friend Susie about stuff,
Right.
and I must have gotten her number wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
She's a she's a forensics expert, and I just wanted to tell her about the pizza guy and stuff, you know. Hear her input, but then I got the wrong number. Did you call the sheriff?
Yeah,
Did
yeah, he's
you?
on his way over. Hey, do you think there's any extra pizza
Oh,
in there
very
for
good,
me?
very good. Yeah, you check the van. I left some in there, in
Right.
the delivery van,
Oh,
the
right.
one with Tabasco. Let me
Yeah.
just check Susie again. 911.
Yeah, exactly. Good. We'll cut away from this. Go over to Amber and Zachary. You have polyhedral dice raining down on you. I would like for you both to make the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now, Zachary?
D4 right in the eye.
Oh yeah,
Blinded in the most embarrassing way imaginable.
Oh, it's worse than that. I think it actually like sticks in your eye. It like gives you a nasty wound. Roll with sensitivity. Regular dice though. No disadvantage.
I'm wondering, can I mark my huge blank leather-bound notebook to like hold it above my
Oh
head?
sure,
Like
yeah, you can have it. Yeah, absolutely.
And that was a waste of time because that's a 6, even with advantage.
Zachary screams Amber as he falls back up against the car. He's got a D4 stuck in his eyeball. His eyeball's quivering and blood is spurting out wildly. Amber, what are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
I'm afraid I'll abandon him and he gets hurt even more.
It's worse than that. You also get hurt. Go ahead and roll with sensitivity. Sensitivity and ooh, I think because of I've got my eye on you and Zachary's looking at you with his disgusting eye, I'm going to put you at disadvantage.
Well, fortunately, I've got my black lace parasol, which I'm going to open to protect us.
I'll take it. Yep.
So that's with vitality, you said?
No, sensitivity.
Sensitivity. Okay, I think that's -1. That's an 8.
Very good. I think that what was it you were using to block it with? What's the item that you're using?
The first one, it's a black parasol, basically an umbrella. So I'm going to mark it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you erase it because I think it tears your umbrella up. It like shreds it. Yeah. But otherwise, you're
Okay.
good. The rain of dice eventually stops. Zachary, you're taking a condition eye injury. No, I'm gonna give you a condition. Natural 1. That's your condition.
Snake eyes.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Oh, snake eye.
Snake eye. Natural 1. Let's do natural 1. You have everybody's loaded up with conditions now except for Amber. I think we'll check back in with Ash, and that will be the conclusion of our very eventful night phase. So, Ash, are you still with us?
No.
You're not.
Nope.
Let's do a very intriguing. Let's just end the night phase then with you describing the tableau.
As Tim is pulling Ash's paralyzed body into this storage facility. I imagine Ash is relatively helpless. His eyes are still able to blink and therefore able to cry as he looks upon this thing that almost fills the room. It is, to say it's just pieces of human bodies and animal corpses would be an understatement. It would be underselling it, because there are other things that are a part of it. Hair that doesn't look like any, but belongs to any person or animal that he's ever seen. Appendages that almost look chitinous and covered in some sort of strange iridescence. And it's all sort of extends like almost like these throbbing veins that it's sort of just attach themselves, clinging to the walls and the ceiling around. And as Tim drags the body of Ash closer, it's almost as if the thing hums and thrums and vibrates with anticipation for what it's about to receive.
Very
I imagine though
nice.
in the center though, there's as Ash gets closer to it, that there is a single television monitor. And when he gets closer, the monitor lights up to bright white static.
Nice. Love it. The night is not quite over yet. Back at Loon Cabin, the cops came, took away the pizza boy's body. They questioned everybody, including Harvey, who held up under questioning.
Of course he did.
It's late at night. Someone left the tape inside the VCR. It's just been playing a blue blank screen for the last hour. But it turns out there's just a little bit of extra tape at the end. And there's a scene that pops up on the screen. Last little bit of the tape. The tape shows each of you. No, it shows Ash. A rear shot. Ash walking into the lake. Ash turns back briefly to look at the camera, but we can't make out their face. Ash then turns back and keeps walking until completely submerged by the dark waters. Tonight, the rest of you are going to dream of Deep Lake. Indeed, you're each going to take a condition. I dream of Deep Lake. Taylor, please replace very, very curious with I dream of Deep Lake and then mark a key. Zachary, please replace the bleeding spiral with I dream of Deep Lake and then mark a key. Amber, you take the condition I dream of Deep Lake. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're each going to narrate your dream that you have tonight. A dream that shows you wading into the lake and making an offering to the deep waters. Think about what it is you offer to the deep waters in your dream. Also, some of you will have keys to narrate, if you haven't done so already, including Ash, even though Ash is not with us. And we'll also swing into the dawn phase at that point. So we're going to take a slightly longer break so you can think about all these things. We'll take a 10-minute break. We'll come back and do all that. Dreams of Deep Lake. Who wants to go first?
I can if you like. in Zachary's dream, we see him dressed in kind of dark jeans and a almost like a long dark jacket, but his chest is bare, and he's carrying a bound sheaf of papers, and he kind of strides out into the lake. The moon is shining directly in front of him, making that like almost like shining a spotlight directly at him. And he wades out until he's kind of thigh deep in the water, and then starts tearing out the pages of these sheets of paper and casting them into the water one by one. And these are all the notes and drafts for the novel he wrote. And as he's casting them into the waters, he can feel all of the changes that being a writer and being actually having some of his work published made on his life kind of fading away one by one, so that he's back to being just this kid that he once was, this kind of precocious, smart-ass, not very popular, and in this dream, no longer very, in any way, successful.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
I can go next if you want, or if Amber wants to go first. Okay. Fine. Okay, I'll just go.
Go ahead, Taylor.
So you can see me also starting to walk into the lake, and I'm dressed in my doctoral regalia, which means that I've graduated and I've got my PhD in my pocket. And as I walk into the water, the clothes I'm wearing, the regalia, are starting to tear and are starting to wither away as if they're 1,000 years old, and just rotting off my body. And the tassel from the head just sinks to the bottom of the lake as the head dissolves, and I'm left naked as the day I was born.
So, in her dream, Amber is wearing no makeup, and instead a white gown and maybe some flowers in her hair. And it's probably almost dawn when she walks into the lake, and there's mist everywhere. And when she steps into the water, and gets deeper in, she still has her tattoos, and in one hand, she's got a knife, and she peels off the skin from her left arm, where she's got like this beautiful sleeve of tattoos. So it's I don't want to go into too many details here, but she peels off her own skin and sheds it, and then dives into the water.
You all will continue having this dream every night. The condition can only be cleared if In the waking world, you wade into the waters of Deep Lake and make the sacrifice, whatever that means to you. Those of you who have keys to narrate or resolve, please do so.
Even if we solve the mystery and everything?
If you marked a key of the child or a key of desolation, and
Oh, no, I meant getting rid of the
Resolving the
condition.
condition.
oh yeah, no, oh you're right, yeah, no, yeah, it stays. It's yeah, like that. Even if you resolve the mystery, it doesn't matter. You still gotta go into the lake and make the sacrifice. So, or
Oh, that's horrible.
however you interpret the dream. Yes, yes.
No.
Well, I can narrate Ash's last key, which was to narrate flashback when you experience childhood trauma. And we see Ash, and he's considerably older from the last key that we saw him in. Probably looks to be about either 14, 15. I don't know, he's a little meek looking either way. Thick glasses, not too different from what he looks like or look like currently. Maybe some more acne and a little skinnier, a little scrawnier. But we see him, and curiously enough, we see seated behind him on the couch, his twin sister Shane, and she's just a sort of like ginger looking without the glasses. But it appears that Ash is playing a video game, which doesn't make sense since he never liked video games, or at least that's what he told everybody. But we actually see him on a Nintendo 64 controller. We see him going through Hyrule as he plays through the Ocarina of Time. And the two of them are just sort of zoning out, vegging out, playing aimlessly, or at least Shane, in her case, is watching Ash play the game aimlessly. And then finally we hear calling out from another room, Ash, are you going to go pick her up? And Ash calls back, yeah, just after the level. And we see Ash's father come into the room finally. See that he's got sort of a balding head with a crown of hair around thick bifocals. And he says, no, you need to go pick your mother up now. It was a late shift, and I'm sure she's ready to come home. And Ash sighs, and he's like, fine. And he tosses the controller back to Shane on the couch, who's eager to play since she hasn't been able to all night, since Ash has been hogging the controller. But Ash finally stomps out of the house, getting into the car, because he's just recently got his driver's permit. And what better way to sort of flex it and take it out for a spin than, helping out his mother, going to pick her up from work. And so he pulls up to a supermarket somewhere outside of La Fresca. She gets in, and it's a late shift for her, and probably the last shift of the night. But she gets into the passenger seat and reaches over, kisses Ash on the cheek, and says thank you, and exchange some small talk about how her night went and how his went. But then as they're driving down the street, Ash is sort of kind of feeling the fatigue of staying up this late. He is, after all, a full-time student, of course. And it's in that moment where he starts to maybe drowse, kind of like in his drowsiness, sort of starts to doze off. And his mother's kind of ongoing story about her days, maybe even starting to bore him a bit, until finally there's a flash of something, this kind of mustard yellow, that zooms across the street. It's tall, and you can't make out the shape other than the size. It's immense flash of yellow, and he doesn't know what to do. He spins off, trying to avoid it, and finally crashes through one of the barriers, skidding down the side of the road into a light post. He doesn't know how long he's out for, but when he wakes up, he can already feel some of the blood trickling down his forehead from his scalp. His glasses are cracked, and he looks to the passenger seat, and he sees nothing, no one there. The door's not open. The windshield's not broken open. It's cracked, but not as if someone was flung out. But he sees in the bright kind of flickering headlights his mother standing in front of the car, smiling. And Ash looks up from the steering wheel, feeling the pain of everything. And he calls out to his mother to get back into the car. And she doesn't respond. She just smiles, and he unhooks himself as quickly as he can from the seatbelt, and staggers out of the driver's seat. He looks down, seeing the blood that's gushing from his face, pooling into the dirt. And as he looks up, he can only see the smoke from the ignition, from the engine, sort of towering up out of the hood, but he doesn't see his mother. He calls out to her, "Mom?" He looks around, trying to see footprints where she might have gone, but there's nothing, no trace of her. And he waits until he can find someone coming up on the road that he can call 911 for. But at this moment, he realizes that he's alone and he doesn't know where his mother's gone.
Thank you. Any other key prompts?
Yeah, I can do one. The prompt is a flashback showing how you were an outsider among your school peers. And I think we see Zachary. He's sitting on the bleachers at the edge of the football field, at the edge of the football field at the, end of the school day. And he has a copy of the Albuquerque Journal, and he's doing the crossword in the back. And there's a call to him that says, "Hey Zach, you want to come play?" And he looks up. He says, "Gabriel, I'm not into that shit." And it's his older brother, also just coming out of school. I think he's like maybe a high school senior at this point. And there's a beep from a car idling by the sidewalk outside, and a woman's voice calls out, says, "Hey Gabriel, come on, the labyrinth awaits." And Gabriel's like, "Yeah, I'm coming, Missy." And he says, "Yeah, see you later, Zach," and heads out. And Zachary's sitting there finishes the crossword and picks up his copy of White Noise by Don DeLillo, and is starting to read that when he kind of hears some like rambunctious laughter, and suddenly something hits him in the eye, and he reaches up in his eye and pulls out, it's like a spitball. Somebody's fired through a straw at him, and it's the football team going past, and they're kind of calling out, "Hey, loser, what you reading there?" And he just kind of holds up the cover to show them. "White Noise, what does that mean, dork?" And these guys just kind of wander off. They don't really give him any more trouble than that. There's not like any holding him down, beating him up, stealing his lunch money or anything, but there's obviously contempt there. So, but Zach just ignores it, carries on reading as the sun starts to set.
Any others?
Yes. I also have the outsider among my school peers one. And we see young Taylor, probably around 8 or so. And everyone's having lunch at school, and all the kids get out their lunch boxes, and they have their sandwiches that their moms made, and leftovers from the day before. And we see Taylor getting out a pack of crisps and a 6-pack of Twinkies. And she starts cracking them open and shoving them into her mouth. And the sound of opening crisp packet is a magnet to children. And all of a sudden, all the kids from her class are standing all around her and are asking, "What, Taylor? Where did you get this delicious food? We only have like disgusting tuna sandwiches. My mom only gave me an apple. She says I should eat more veggies. I want crisps too, man. You're so cool. I wish I could have Twinkies for lunch." And they pester her until she shares and ultimately is left with nothing for herself. And as soon as the snacks are gone, all the children disperse and she's sitting alone at the table again with no food and no real friends. And she reaches into her pocket where some coins jingle that her parents left for her to get some lunch at the vending machine because they were too busy packing lunch for her.
Any others? Okay. Then we will go straight over to the dawn phase. Let's take a look at our dawn questions. You have not resolved a mystery yet. Those of you who have the sandstone arch marked, starting with Zachary. Zachary, did you receive a signal from the other side? Meaning something from the tapes echoed into the scene. I will say, although it wasn't on the Odyssey tape and therefore strictly not applicable, I really, really loved the spitball in your eye.
Yeah, that was
the dice.
kind of deliberately
Yeah.
an echo, but yeah, no.
Yeah, not.
I'll
Yeah,
take it if you give it to
I
me.
will give it to you. Yeah, because it's in the spirit of the thing. So I'll let you have it.
Yeah.
Amber, did you get one? And also, don't forget last week too. We had like a
Yeah.
all the events from
So
last week as well.
today,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so, but last week I narrated that Paula was kind of annoyed with the children asking for cookies.
Oh, right. Yeah. And Ash, did you get one? Not that it matters anymore, but
yeah, I tried with the knife in the hand, the injury. From when Paula cut her hand in her video.
Very good, very good. Love all that. Taylor, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past? I would say yes, out of character you did, with your key there. And were you vulnerable with someone? Probably.
Didn't we have a scene last week, a vulnerable scene? I forgot what we talked about.
You all did. You all. Because if we think back to last week, especially, but I was also going to say even today, probably the moment with Harvey, right? I mean,
with the kid.
Yeah, I mean,
the divorce.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the mere fact that you went out there with Harvey was pretty. Maybe not emotionally vulnerable, but physically vulnerable.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about that. I always, in my mind, it's always just emotionally vulnerable. But I was with Daniel, though.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah,
we talked about.
Yeah. Fantastic. So you got 2 XP, so you get your advancement. Let's go over to Zachary. Did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past? I would say your flashback today as well applies. I liked it.
Right, I'll take it.
It was sad, if not exactly chilling, but certainly very sad. Did you cut loose for once?
I think I did.
Amber, did you cut loose for once?
Yeah, I say so.
I would say like being. I think maybe the whole scene with Missy, because the two of you were clearly like kind of having a little, I don't know. I feel like you were kind of dropping your guard a bit, but it's up to you if you think there's a better case there.
No, I think that actually applies, and also the whole thing of being reckless, doing drugs.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, good point. Yeah, fair enough. Did you share a good memory from your childhood?
I don't think so.
And just out of curiosity, Ash, did you share a good memory from your childhood? You definitely shared a bad one. I don't know if you got a good one in there or not, Ash. Um,
Yeah, no, I don't
you
think
were
so.
certainly vulnerable though, several
Yeah.
times. Any case, let's keep going with our dawn phase. You can mark new dawn questions if you wish, or leave either or both the same. And that's it. So let's go to stars and wishes. I will kick off today. I really, I always think it's a really bold move to let your character be killed in service of the story. And so I give you a star, Jack, for making that decision. It would have been equally interesting if not, but the fact that you let it go and then delivered on this really, really chilling scene at the end, like what was inside the storage unit, I think it was a really great payoff. And my associated wish is I'm very I'm very interested to see like what your new character is going to be. It sounds like maybe it's going to be Shane, but I don't know. We'll see. It makes sense though. Shane showing up to Deep Lake looking for her brother, so I think that would be intriguing. I'm sure Tim Crayley would be more than happy to help you out with that. Um, let's but yeah, stars and wishes. But so that was my straightaway star. I thought everyone did a really fantastic job. Who had everybody today who had to do and also last week, since this is also for last week, everybody who had to do the tape prompts were really good. Like all the Paula Palmer stuff was really creepy and scary. I loved it. I particularly loved the whole like Paula slamming the ice cream down on the table and be like, fine, eat. Like it was just so like it was so great. And and what I really loved about this tape and the way you all did it is, um, there was actually a in my real life in Dallas, there is a public access cooking show called Cooking with Carol. And what's really great about it is back in the day, at least, I don't even know if it's still on, but back when my friends and I would watch it because Carol, she would be showing you how to cook recipes, but while she was doing it, she was also very obviously like working out her problems with her family. So she would like say things like, oh, I made this for my husband the other day. I don't think he appreciated it, or like my kids are always giving me a hard time about this or that. So she would be like kind of working through her family stuff on camera. And so this Paula Palmer stuff would just seem like such a heightened, horrified, horror version of that. And so I really loved it. I thought it was all great. Um, very much enjoyed just all of the horror and danger of this session, but also like the really like interesting human moments, like with Amber and Zachary especially. We got these like really interesting, like just like slice of life, like stories with these characters. Like it almost had like a weird Richard Linklater vibe or something, like with Frog and the stuff at the copy shop and People's Champ, and then this like stuff with Missy and Amber. Like I don't know, it was all just very like kind of cute and human. While meanwhile Taylor and Ash are like fighting for their lives, like I don't know, it was pretty great. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, just overall, all around, great stuff. The session was just loads of fun, and yeah, I'm just really, really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, go on.
No, you can go. It's fine.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, no. Fun time. Yeah, I mean, I had considered sticking around with Ash, but like I don't know, I just really love the idea of having another just terrifying, psychotic, or like monstrous person in Deep Lake would be fun. So now that we have Tim, who clearly has something weird in his storage facility, I just like bringing that to the table and seeing what might happen with that. And it was like just a really cool setup. So it felt too enticing to not cash in on. So it's your fault, Jason. but yeah, other than that, I thought the tape was fun. It's one of my favorite tapes, just how it's written, but I thought all the stuff that was added was really fun. Especially like the sort of self-injury and the ice cream, just being exasperated at these terrible children, these ungrateful children. And then like the parents with their faces sort of strapped into their meal was very cinematic, very dark. I like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see where we go from here. How like what kind of I don't know, fallout from this sudden departure is, what that's going to yield. But I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I had a bunch of things written down. A couple of really cool things that Jason did early on, which was I loved your storage shutter sound effect that you made. That was
I
particularly
have that too.
particularly good. And I really liked like Taylor's gruesome death was like so 80s slasher movie with like the wheels spinning and then like the clunk as the brake goes off, and just that was perfect. I really liked Paula's freak out over the ice cream moment. You know, this kind of passive aggressive, well, probably aggressive freak out over kids who don't want to finish their meals but still want dessert. There was a great scene with Attafoy trying to, I think it's Attafoy, I'm a little confused, coercing Ash into helping him burn down the arcade, and there was a moment where he kind of goes, I'm not hearing a lot of like helping me burn down the arcade here or something, and that was cool. There was an interesting connection, I don't know if it was deliberate, but how Harvey said his wife was touched by an angel, and also Missy McDonough thought that the big man was an angel, and I was thinking, oh, is that like a kind of echo deliberately tying those two things together somehow? Amber's kind of zoned out affect after she came out from meeting Missy was really interesting. It kind of sold the, oh yeah, she's just kind of coming down from the cookies thing, and then we all start getting hit by dice raining from the sky. And I loved Amber then trying to turn the consequences of the night move on Zachary. Thank you. That was very appreciated. I really thought Ash was going into the chromatic desert that was such a cool scene with he's getting put into this storage unit, and then
the TV, the white static TV
Jack
was like really good touch. Yeah.
Just described the TV being there, and I thought, oh, okay. And because I know he's got the like I am error marked, I thought, okay, Ash is going into the chromatic desert at this point. But I was completely wrong. And also a big start for Ash's key prompt with the car crash. That was very very cool, and yeah, very effective. Good session.
So yes, I also very much enjoy the shutter sound that you made for the storage facility. Like, it sounds exactly like that. And in this session, I particularly enjoyed the interactions between the characters and the NPCs as well, and the keys finally, because I feel like we got to know the characters better, which is always something I enjoy very much. And I was also happy that I get to play Taylor more instead of just like reacting to stuff. I enjoyed Amber and Missy's connection. That was very cute. And seeing a different side of Amber, that's so cute. Like, oh, I love baking too. Let's bake together. That's so sweet. And also the interaction between Zachary and Amber. They are always so awkward with each other. Is it just me, or are they so awkward with each other? It's like they have nothing in common and nothing to talk about, and are desperately trying to make some kind of small talk. You can have my friend. Okay. And that's That's hilarious. And also Zachary saying meeting people you actually want to meet is the problem in the city. Yeah, it is, I guess. And I love the last prompt. Okay, I actually loved all the prompts from the Odyssey tape, but especially the last one with about being a good guest is also very important. Yeah. Ash, I found it very brave to just do what you did, because and I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Yeah, I enjoyed this session very much.
So at first I thought, okay, this is going to be one of those night scenes where Amber is having a lovely time and everyone else is not. But then that turns quickly, and I really enjoyed that scene with the dice coming down, and yeah. Zachary's eye being injured, and then later when you did your scene, making that the callback, and also when you described more about your brother and setting up the connection to Missy, and I'm really curious to see where that's going. Besides that, I think, yeah, it's really interesting to see what's next for your character, Jack. So for your new character, since Ash is gone now, I think seeing the sister turn up, you've hinted at her so many times already, and I was really curious what that character which role that character will play, and now she's getting a player character, which is really cool, and also which is almost a wish. I'm really curious what that means for the story. Will we look for Ash? Will we have like a funeral at some time? Will we ever if we ever find him or his remains? Tim being like a threat that lurks in the city is really interesting to me. Yeah, and for let's say more wholesome moments, I really enjoyed the interaction with Missy, because she also there was a kind of sadness, like hearing, oh, you're too old, like you're in your 30s and you can't play role-playing games anymore. That stings. It's out of character as well. And but also seeing her like a big man truther, and collecting all the evidence, that was really cool. And for Taylor, I liked the whole interaction you had with Harvey, because that was such a great slasher trope of the killer being there pretending that someone else is the killer. And
Well, to be fair, we don't know, right? We don't know for sure Harvey killed anybody. Yeah.
yeah, but he's definitely suspicious. And let's say just this trope that someone dangerous and or unstable, or whatever you would like to say. And both of you did a great job without saying it explicitly, playing into that trope. And it's just like a final girl would act, like calling the ex-wife to check in if she's actually here or not, and pretending that it's someone else on the
It was
phone.
such a
So
final girl
how
move. Yeah, it really was.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was fantastic. So I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to continuing the story and seeing where this is going.
I have a star as well for I really liked there's a few other things I wanted to point out that I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying how this campaign, more than others I've run, the mysteries are all kind of like bleeding into each other, which I think is really interesting, and they feel really interconnected. Like especially Zagreus and um, Greetings Travelers, we've seen some really direct connections, but like, I don't know, just this Deep Lake feels very like a place. And I kind of really love that. Like it feels like a really connected place. And so I really enjoy that. And I think that goes to you all as well, like in how you sort of like interact with things and the questions you ask. And like your characters are all like it kind of feels like you're all investigating one big mystery, right? Rather than like three small mysteries. And I think that's really cool. Even though strictly speaking, it's three separate mysteries. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw a star out there for that. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but a star as well for the key prompts. Everyone's like little key narrations were really good today. So, any other stars or wishes?
Yeah, I really want to solve this deep lurker
The Deep Lake
thing.
Lurker.
Finally, come
I
on.
know. You have a
Really,
couple of
it's time.
really tough conditions as long as that mystery is going, or at least one of them you can't get rid of, as long as the mystery is going. Unless you can convince
Yeah,
one of
and
the
the
others
other
to
one
go in the
that's
water.
yeah, I'm sure I can. This is the other condition that's horrendous.
The sacrifice. Yeah, those were good too. Star
It's
for that.
really,
Everyone's
Yeah.
description of what they had to sacrifice. I particularly like Michael's
yeah,
tattoo thing. That was
absolutely.
really great. Yeah. Yeah. And it also
Yeah,
begs the
I
question.
especially like
Yeah.
Zach's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you have to do
this
in the real world to
Yeah, I
clear?
thought, it's just a dream I can tell. Anything.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
yeah,
Well,
that's really tough because both Zachary and me, we would have to like give up a whole lives
yeah. I mean,
and what
depending
we
on how you
plan on
interpret it,
doing with our lives. It's
yeah, it's pretty heavy. I mean, it's intriguing. Well,
very intriguing.
I think that's all I've got today. So let's go ahead and wave goodbye to people watching the video. Goodbye, people watching the video.